So what we are talking about working on here today with the concept of flipping the switch and using the concept of your shifting through parallel realities to get a better bead on the idea, a more precise understanding of the idea of manifesting the parallel reality you prefer, is to focus on the idea of creating a greater degree of difference than you normally do, so that you will be able to feel the shift, to see the shift, to perceive the shift more viscerally, more concretely. And the idea, thus then, is to allow yourself the opportunity to let go of the definitions that you have been brought up to believe are necessary for the labeling and defining and designing of the parallel realities that you do already automatically experience, so that you can design, in a sense, the parallel reality that is more in alignment with the parallel realities or sequence of parallel realities that you prefer, that are more representative of your true nature, your true core frequency, your true natural self, your true vibration. Here's what you can begin to do. Just have an overall image, an overall representation of your life as it is. In whatever way that comes to you, just to paint a picture, like you're looking at a movie screen if you wish, and just see up on that screen, see yourself, see an image of you, going about the things that you are already doing in life. Nothing different than what you're already doing. It can be anything on a day-to-day basis, this and that, big or small, doesn't matter. Just see yourself as you are. Now, when you are ready, blank the screen, wipe the screen. Now, replace it with an image of yourself going about your day-to-day business in what you consider to be, for now, your preferred, desired, ideal reality, your ideal life. Fill that movie screen with your image and look at all the things, create all the things in it that are representative of what the things are you would be going about doing in your ideal life, your ideal reality. Some of them may be the same. Some of them may be different. Whatever it is, just take a look at it. Now, in your mind's eye, put those two screens side by side or one above the other. Look at one screen that represents your life as it is. Look at the other image on the other screen that represents your life as you would prefer it to be. Notice the differences. Notice the differences. Notice the similarities, but notice the differences. Whatever differences you noticed, from small to large, are the things that represent vibrationally, symbolically, representationally, that ideal life. Whatever symbol you conjured up represents vibrationally that preferred parallel reality, because that is a real, already existing parallel reality. And that version of you in that reality already exists as a real person in that universe, in that reality, which is a completely different reality than the screen that represents your life as it is right now. Again, allow yourself to remember the differences, but understand that these two realities coexist right now, simultaneously, interpenetrated, overlapping, only separated by the slightest difference in vibrational energy. Now, it may be a slight difference, but if the picture looks very different, then it is a difference that is enough of a difference in vibration that you are noticing the difference. And that's the key. Different enough that you notice the difference. different enough so that it's not in your mind, as you are used to experiencing, a smooth continuity from one second to the next, but would be representative of some time passing in between. In other words, some of you might see the image of the life as it is now, see the image of the life that you prefer, and you might automatically find yourself assuming that it would require some span of time in order for one to change to the other. The thing to understand is that it actually, in a sense, requires less time than you think, and in fact actually uses no time at all. When you decide, when you choose to actually be that person in that reality, it will happen instantaneously as a shift from whatever parallel reality you were experiencing a moment before that. But you can create the illusion of process, the illusion of time lag, the illusion of linear continuity to make it seem as if it's taking time to become or experience that reality. But that reality exists right now. So manifestation in this context is simply the degree to which you are willing to allow the definition, no matter how different it looks, to actually be real right now, to know that it exists right now, and most importantly, in this particular permission slip, to be willing to actually be that person in that representation right now. When you go back now and look at the two images you created, and if you see differences in them, one of the differences you will probably see is a difference in how you behave in the two realities. Many people on your planet, when they imagine themselves going through their day-to-day existence as it is now, and then imagine themselves going through their day-to-day existence in the reality they prefer, will suddenly realize there is a great degree of difference in your behavior, in your body language, in what you're wearing, in your attitude, in your energy. Look at the difference in you in those two images. It is important to understand the following. This principle is paramount here. You cannot experience what you are not already the vibration of. So the idea is, if you see that version of you in that preferred ideal reality doing certain things, the you are now is not capable of experiencing those things unless you actually start being the person in that image. If you don't behave like that person, dress like that person, talk like that person, walk like that person, think like that person, feel like that person, you will not experience the things that person is experiencing, because that is not just a different version of you. It is a different person, literally, entirely. And you, the greater you, as a consciousness, can shift between the person you're experiencing yourself to be now and the person that is represented in that ideal scenario. That you, the bigger you, the consciousness that you are, will be the same, but the person, the physical construct, the temporary personality that you consider yourself to be as a physical being will literally not be the same person, because you are not the same person from moment to moment to moment to moment. As we already said, billions and billions of times a second, you're actually becoming literally, quite literally, not metaphorically, quite literally, a new person billions of times a second. The idea again here is to pay attention consciously to the fact that you can design the person, design the reality to be different enough so that you can actually tell the difference, that it is really a different reality, a different you, a different universe. And that's what this exercise is designed to do, is look at the differences so that you can know that when you shift, you're shifting totally, utterly, totally, and instantaneously. There is no real time lag at all between becoming one reality and another, between experiencing yourself as one person and another. None whatsoever. but you can create this continuity, this illusion that there is, or you can start to let that go. Now, it will not let go entirely, of course, as long as you still have a reason to experience the physical reality idea at all. We are not talking about eliminating it completely, although from time to time, as you do these kinds of exercises, as you gain this kind of insight and this kind of knowledge, you may find space and time becoming a little more slippery. You may find things happening very rapidly, maybe sometimes even instantaneously here and there. This will be somewhat sporadic, but it can accelerate. Nevertheless, you will still retain some sense of space-time in order to have a context in which to experience the idea you call physical reality, but you can allow your experience of it to become something far more different than what you're experiencing now, accelerate it far more rapidly than what you're experiencing now. Again, not literally accelerating it. When I say accelerate it, I mean experience as if you were accelerating, because you're already shifting as fast as you can. You're already shifting totally. So you can't shift more than you do. You can't shift faster than you do. What you can change is your perception, your experience of the idea, so that you can become aware of the fact that you are shifting totally, shifting instantaneously. That's the whole idea to this exercise, to become aware of the fact that you're already shifting totally, already shifting instantaneously, and you can't go any faster. The way, as we said, to recognize that is to create a parallel reality that is different enough that you notice that you're shifting immediately and totally. So the idea is, as you see that image and you see that version of you there, start from this moment forward, from this day forward. Start being, start behaving, start mimicking that version of you. Because that's what your imagination, that's what your visualization is for, is to create the state. Because if you really, really are having an image in your mind that's representative of your ideal reality, not only will the you, the version of you in that picture, look excited, you'll start to feel excited about that reality. You'll feel that energy now. It will start to leak into you from that image. That's what it's for. That's its job, to put you in the proper state that is representative of the ideal reality, no matter how that reality actually will appear physically.
All right, I'll say, how are you all this day of your time as you create time to exist? Allow us to begin with an interaction on the idea of miracles. You may use that as your title if you wish. In this way, recognize that what you often consider in your civilization to be miracles, you consider to be out of the ordinary, above and beyond the mainstream reality that you are used to experiencing in your day-to-day world. But recognize what you typically call a miracle is, in actual fact, a recognition of the fundamental workings of the universe. It is a recognition of when reality, physical reality, the experience of physical reality as you have come to know it, is actually working in synchronous harmony with all other levels of reality. And thus, a miracle is actually representative of when the universe is working most naturally. Physical reality, the day-to-day events that you typically experience that seem to be different from what you call miraculous, that, in a sense, is even more of a miracle than a typical miracle, as you call it. For a typical miracle is an indication of the natural state of the universe when everything works hand in hand, absolutely flawlessly, and can create whatever manifestation is indicative of the way the minds and the hearts and the beliefs of the individuals involved in that circumstance wish it to be. Whereas what you call your day-to-day life is the product of divergence, many times, from the so-called natural awareness or natural state of creation, natural state of reality. And in that sense, the things that you most often take for granted are actually the exception to the norm. In that sense, the way you have structured your reality, all of the different diversifications, separations, and specific endeavors that you create in your day-to-day lives, those are the miraculous manifestations of the foundational energy. Your daily life is therefore miraculous. And when you see in your lives what you normally call a miracle, when all of the normal, what you think of as normal activities that go on are for a moment seemingly suspended to allow this so-called miracle to occur, in actual fact, what you are seeing, therefore, is the very fundamentals, the homogeneous, balanced, natural energy that everything in your daily lives is created from. You follow along? Therefore, recognize that your lives at any given moment are made of magic, if you will, are miraculous in that way. And that what you typically call a miracle is not something that is an interruption in what you think is the natural or normal way that life exists, but it is actually a manifestation of naturalness, a manifestation of the basic root, foundational energy out of which all of the divergences in your daily life are created. A miracle is a calm spot, the eye of the hurricane, as you say, wherein you allow all the different energies, the homogeneous energy of the foundational creation itself, to simply work in its purest form. When you know in that state that everything does fit in with everything else, everything does work in life, and a miracle is simply your willingness to allow on all levels, all at once, life and the universe to work in the way it was designed to work. So if you wish your life to become, as you think, more miraculous, and for life to become more and more effortless expression of that level of creativity, then all you need to do is allow your life to revert back to its natural state, to the zero rest balance point, to allow the things in your life to be there that need to be there, rather than thinking you must make or force or push those ideas into creation. Desire, determination, those are tools that can allow you to allow your reality to work, but desire and determination do not have to be expressed in a struggle type of mode. Desire is the activation key that will bring to you anything you believe to be possible to experience in your life. And when you allow your desire, your excitement, which is your indication of your connection to the primal energy out of which all is created, when you allow your desire to bring those things into your life, then your life will be effortless, will be miraculous, day to day to day. You follow along? At this time, therefore, we will communicate in the mode we call sharing.
Yes, we have a documentary being filmed tonight.
Yes.
We have a lady who's going to
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I have a couple of questions. They're not exactly on the subject you're talking on, but...
Does not have to be, never has to be.
All right, good. It has been predicted by Leah that in March of '87 there will be a profound change in our economy. Do you agree? And is this change for the better or for the worse?
The idea of what you would call approximately March 15th to March 17th will be a very strong energy gate wherein many transformations can take place. Some aspects of what you call your sociological structures, your economic societies, may discover new principles that will allow different manifestations of interrelationships to begin to be laid down upon your planet. Any transformation can be experienced and expressed in a positive and or a negative way. Which way it manifests depends upon the attitudes and perspectives of the individuals involved. So it is up to you as to how it will manifest. But that time frame is a very strong transformational energy gate. Yes?
Thank you. The other question is, we're doing this documentary for public awareness. Do you have anything to say regarding this?
First of all, that you are also doing it because of the public awareness that already exists. So recognize that anything you find manifesting in your reality not only goes towards reinforcing the ideas that you can do, but is also a reflection of the ideas you have already become. So first and foremost, what we will say is to extend from us an appreciation and a thank you to your civilization for being willing to come to the point in its conscious conception of itself wherein it is willing to discuss these ideas and expand in many different ways. The exploration of your consciousness will be discovered to be the key to any idea you wish to understand within the living of your life. And that fundamentally, what we will share with you is that the only fundamental process truly necessary for you to understand anything you wish to understand about life is to simply live the life you are living. And in that true and full living and expressing yourself according to the trueness of what you know to be representative of the energy each and every one of you are, you will, in living that life, discover everything you need to know about the life you are living. For again, the universe does not do extraneous and pointless things. Everything works, and there is a reason for everything. Explore and expand your curiosity. Become fascinated with the interplay of all ideas as they interact and interrelate, and you will discover that everything is an orchestration, and a flawless one at that.
Bashar, thank you very much.
We thank you for your endeavor. We thank you for your sharing and your willingness to participate and create an opportunity for others to participate in the growing expansion of awareness, of remembering that you are all made in the image of the infinite creator, and what that means is you are all infinite creators. We thank you.
All right.
Shooting!
Bashar,
Ace!
a couple of weeks ago in the Times there was an article that the scientists had found two giant arcs. Could you care to comment? Would you care to comment on, tell us a little bit about that?
We can disperse but a little bit of information. What you are perceiving as the arcs are specific compactions of the gravitational dynamic tensor fields of the physical universe that have undergone what you would call vast implosive energy. You are seeing the spin-off or cast-off remnants from the implosion of one portion of this physical universe into and through a gateway of another physical universe. Thus, the energies released are quite a bit higher in magnitude than anything you have discovered around your localized area. For in that area, therefore, you are seeing, let us say, to be colloquial in your language, the breach, the gate, the doorway from one universe to another, and the after effects of that implosion, of the creation of that gate, a very powerful gate. These arcs, therefore, are representative of how space-time itself has become, as you say, warped or twisted, representative of the motion or the eddies or the currents now involved in that particular
Limitation. Is there anything you could care to tell us in regards to denial?
Denial. Denial in this way is again the belief, the inherent ingrained belief that there might be something in your life that you might come across that would not be able to serve you. But when you recognize that everything happens for a reason, then you will know that anything that happens in your life can be used to add to the overall understanding of yourself in a positive way and allow you to expand and accelerate in growth. Therefore, denial is simply the belief in your lack of completeness, in your lack of ability to utilize in a positive way, anything that could occur in your life. It is a fear that there is something within you that is beyond your control, that may get out of hand, as you say. It is only a fear. It is only the result of the fact that your society has been taught that you are not in control of your life. Therefore, you do not allow yourselves to be aware of why the things that occur in your life do occur. And so because you think that to learn more about them will actually place you in greater lack of control, you many times will refuse to explore them, feeling safe and secure just where you are. Not realizing that the more you explore those things, the more you will have to add to your overall understanding of yourself, and the more stable you will actually become. Does that assist you?
Yes, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sharing.
Bashar,
Ace.
in working with the Lazarus tape that you mentioned to us a couple of months back,
Ace.
Secrets of Manifesting What You Want,
Nice.
in cleaning up the tools to use for manifestation,
Yes.
I find it difficult to find out what my payoffs are, and my blocks are quite large.
If you say so.
I wonder if you can shed some light on what.
Why do you believe your blocks are large? And first and foremost, what is your definition of a block?
The denial that I have a payoff for a negative action in my life.
Denial that you have a payoff for a
Yes.
negative action. Would you clarify that, please?
Okay, I'm exhibiting lack.
You
And-
are exhibiting lack?
Yes, I don't have the kind of car that I want and the money that I want to do the things that I want. And I don't know, he says find out what your payoff is, and I can't imagine why I want to do this.
All right. Perhaps one suggestion, only a suggestion, to allow you to discontinue looking at it as a lack and focus on the things you already have so that you know you already are abundant in one way and that you can be abundant in other ways, rather than assuming that you lack anything. Because if you are approaching it from that end, that point of view, then you are only reinforcing the idea that you are not abundant, that you lack something. Approach it from the point of view that you already are abundant in whatever ways you have needed to be abundant, and that you can be abundant in other ways, more expanded ways, rather than assuming that just because you are not right now abundant in a particular way means that you lack abundance at all. You follow me? So examine the other end of your tool as well.
Okay.
Now, it also does not necessarily have to be that complex. It may be as simple as you simply have the habit of generating that particular type of scenario. Whether or not there is any particular quote-unquote payoff, whether you actually have an ingrained belief that you need to suffer, you may simply be in the habit of generating the reality the way you are generating it. So, allow yourself to know that you are in the process of creating new habits now. And that it is not necessarily so that you have to dig and scrape for this deep, dark secret you are holding from yourself.
Beautiful.
You follow
Thank
me?
you. Yes, I do.
If it is that difficult to find a payoff, maybe that's an indication that there really isn't one.
I love it. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So
Richard.
lighten up upon yourself. And when you use the tools that the tape suggests in order to sculpt a new reality, use a light touch as well. It is only the novice that applies undue pressure and very often snaps the tool. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
You do not have to dig quite so hard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
Sharing.
Hi, Bashar.
Hi.
I bought a little toy today. It's a tuning fork. And
Nice.
I've
Do
got-
you like the way it moves you?
Oh, very exciting. Very, very, very exciting. And I bought a little pitch pipe, too. And just while I was sitting here, I was thinking if there was different notes. Because now I'm interested in using it to heal, possibly.
Nice.
And
Then
it's-
you can simply ask any other individual to stop you when you hit the note that moves them. And that's the vibration you can work with them on. You follow me?
Yeah.
Whatever strikes a chord within them will be the key that unlocks them from the reality that they have lived in before and will allow them to now manifest the reality they prefer. So simply test it out with any individual you are interacting with. Which one do you like? This one, this one, this one. Oh, that one? All right. Then that will be the key one. When you hear this, therefore, if this is the one that truly strikes a chord within you, you will know that when we play this note, you will be at your absolute most malleable, most open, most receptive, most willing to create the reality you desire. This will be your support field. And a support field it literally will be. You will generate the tonality And that tonality, the vibrations themselves, will function in much the same way as the energy fields around our spacecraft, and will, in a sense, isolate that individual from all of the reality habits that they have previously been manifesting, and will give them the opportunity to lock into new ideas. You follow me?
Yes.
It is like suspending them in a type of fluid, surrounding them with that sound.
Okay, so there's not one or any different note that's good for a certain,
The individuals
type of-
will let you know.
for whatever it is, whatever note.
Yes,
And,
every individual is different, and they are different at different times.
Can I use this like over a body instead of just by the ears?
Yes. Oh, yes. Especially over the solar plexus. Especially.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chatting.
Bashar,
Ace.
I talked to you, the first time I talked to you was about headaches I was getting.
Ace.
They're more consistent now. They're about every other day. And you said it had something to do with gravitational shifts on the planet.
To some degree.
could
Your
you-
sensitivity to electromagnetic shifts.
Okay. I was just curious about that. The other thing was, when I was about 3, I was playing with a ball in our living room, and the ball rolled under our couch, and I got our maid to get the ball for me, and while she was, I happened to look behind me, and through the curtain appeared a figure, a very tall...
Stop.
Okay.
Are you doing in your life what you wish to be doing?
I think so. On one hand I am, and yes, I'm
Which is?
researching more into myself.
In
and
what way?
others, spiritually, body-wise, how it all...
How will you use this knowledge
That-
physically?
Probably to improve myself and my life and those around me.
How? What methodology
I don't
is
know.
most exciting to you?
I don't know. I'm researching quite a few different ones.
All right. Which one has already been most exciting to you? Which one stands out the strongest now, so far?
That has helped me the most.
The one you wish to exemplify, the way you wish to put into action what you have learned. How do you wish to share what you are learning?
Well,
How do you wish to be of service?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
When you allow yourself to know that you do, many of these headaches will cease entirely. For you are receiving communication.
I know I am.
Yes.
And I'm aware that I have been.
All right.
I dream all the time.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I had a dream about you last night.
Yes.
Going to Germany, I think it is. By the way, do you plan to go to Germany?
I plan nothing.
Okay.
Now, the idea is that you are highly receptive, as we have said, to these electromagnetic pulses.
Right.
And they are being used to communicate with you.
Okay.
But the idea of the headache only comes because you are, to some degree, hesitating and resisting letting yourself express it in the way you know would be most joyous. You are analyzing the ways a little bit so strongly that you are not truly allowing yourself to give full fruition, full embodiment, and full expression to the way you truly do desire to express it, because you want to be very careful in your mind. You are being cautious, but to some degree you are being overly cautious. And this resistance and this hesitation is allowing this energy communication to back up within you and creating the sense of pressure.
Oh.
When you are more willing to let it out, let it through, trust your instincts rather than having to rely so much on your analysis process, then you will allow, like a valve, some of the steam out. You follow me?
I think so. I'm just not certain when it...
When it will be correct?
There I go again, right?
Yes. Now,
Right.
right now, let's use your imagination. Right now.
Okay.
Let's open those gateways up a little bit. Don't worry, it won't hurt. Allow yourself now to imagine, even if your conscious mind thinks this is only a game, that's all right. Play along. Imagine right now at least one way. It does not have to be the absolute, idealized, ultimate, end-all, be-all way you could ever come up with. Right now, imagine one way that you would feel happy in expressing what you are learning. One way that you would feel most light and joyous in sharing and being of service with what you are learning. One way, one idea.
Speaking with others.
All right. Are you already doing this?
Yes,
To what extent?
a little.
All right. When you find individuals, in other words, who are interested, you simply share ideas with them, yes?
Yes.
All right. The knowledge you are learning, how else do you imagine it can be applied?
Other than speaking with others, I don't know. That's where I don't know. At this point, that's not what's arrived yet. I don't know.
All right. When it does arrive, how do you imagine it will arrive?
I'll know.
Yes, you will. Now, is it all right for you to know that when it happens?
Yes.
Is it all right for you to not necessarily consciously know it now?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Maybe I'm at the point where it's about ready to arrive, and I sense it. And
of the patterns, to some degree, is an indication of a cohesion, of a crystallization.
okay,
So yes, you are on a threshold right now.
right.
Will you do me a favor?
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Will you take 3 slow, deep breaths? Not fast, slow.
Okay.
In so doing, did any, even the most abstract type of image come to you at all?
Just me.
Just you.
Just me.
Just you. Very good. You, unto yourself, are absolutely self-contained. And all of the knowledge you are discovering already exists within you. All of the communication you are having, whether or not it is connecting to what you might typically call other consciousness or not, also comes from you. Allow yourself to recognize, therefore, that right now you are complete. And whatever definition of that completeness you choose to have will determine the rate and timing in which you will manifest your unique expression of that completeness. You yourself is all you need. You yourself, in that sense, is all you have. But it is all you need. So in your search, in your research, allow yourself to recognize that there was you at the beginning, and no matter what or whom you connect up to or with in your research, there will only be you at the end, so to speak, the end. And when, instead of a search, it becomes an expression, then the energy will flow. For research is creating an echo inwardly. And the, in a sense, headache are a reflection of that echo. When you let it out, then you will be channeling through yourself rather than allowing it to bottle up and channel back into yourself, constantly researching for that part of yourself you think you do not yet contain. You contain it. When you let it out, that is when you will discover it has been there all along, and you will no longer need to search and research. You follow me?
Yes.
You know what you need to know when you need to know it, yes. And at the same time, everything you need to know to be anything you wish to be, you know right now. Anything that you can conceive of being at all right now, because you have the ability to conceive of being that idea, even the slightest notion of that idea, you contain all the tools necessary right now to be that idea, because having that idea is an indication that you do have the tools for that level already.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. More and continuous pleasant dreams to you.
Thank you.
And the breathing will also energize, balance, and alleviate a great deal of the pressure. So breathe. Meditate, breathe. Slowly, fully. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We, last night of your time, also mentioned that we would be speaking about the idea of the transformation itself, the accelerating wave of collective consciousness that many of you have intuitively recognized reaches a critical mass threshold in and around your cycle that you call 2012. This simply represents the idea of crossing into critical mass, where you have the potential for total positive reality. You have that now, of course. But after 2012, the idea of positive energy will be so much more available to so many more of you that if you should choose to ride the crest of that wave, the leading edge of that wave of consciousness, you can accelerate so rapidly, you can attract to yourself so rapidly the things that are representative of your passion, of your joy, without knowing in any way, shape, or form how these things could have happened, beyond reason, beyond logic, that again, your life will become literally so dreamlike, it will be at first dizzying and disorienting until you get used to it. Literally, you'll be walking through life like it's a dream, marveling at the miraculous synchronicities that just are popping up as a matter of course. Yes. When you ride the leading edge of the wave of consciousness. If, however, you choose to continue to compartmentalize your physical mind and make it responsible for being in charge, and have to know the how, and have to know the why, and have to know all the details before you'll be willing to believe that the higher self can simply bring this to you, then you will, by choice, position yourself somewhere down the line from the leading edge, in some of the eddies and currents and backwashes in the wake of the leading edge. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot find benefit in those locations, in those gradations of frequency behind the leading edge. But wherever it is you position yourself, you simply have to understand the effect you create will be absolutely directly commensurate with where you have positioned yourself, and it will not be any more than that. By definition, it cannot be any more than that. As an analogy, your visible spectrum of light. You understand that in the visible spectrum of light, red is a low frequency, the lowest visible frequency you can perceive with your eyes. Violet is the highest visible frequency you can perceive with your eyes in general. We understand many of you are beginning to stretch these boundaries, but for the purpose of this illustration, let's just stick with the common labeling of this visible spectrum. Now, you know, if something exists on the frequency of violet light, it's at a very high level of frequency, very high level of energy. And it will experience the things that go hand in hand with that level. if something chooses to exist on the other end of the spectrum, in the red frequency, it will be functioning at a lower wavelength, a slower wavelength, a lower vibration, and will only experience the things that are commensurate with that level in the spectrum. It's all energy, it's all light, it's all the same stuff, as you say, but the difference in gradation of the vibrational frequency will ultimately determine what is capable of being experienced on that level. If you're operating at a certain wavelength toward the lower end of that spectrum, you will only perceive red. Only! You will never perceive violet at that end of the spectrum. If you are operating at the violet end of the spectrum on a high frequency level, you will only perceive violet. You will never perceive red at that end of the spectrum. Ever. So, the leading edge of the wave of your collective consciousness on this transformation, you can live there and ride the crest, or you can allow yourself to float back into the wake. Somewhere in there will be vibrations that will be representative of whatever degree you are willing to allow your belief system to take hold. So, you must understand that if you do that, there are consequences to that. The consequence being that you can only perceive what is directly commensurate with the level you're on, and nothing else. Nothing lower, but nothing higher. But you are all capable of choosing to ride the crest, the leading edge. All right. Now, when some of you consider this, you get scared. It's going too fast for me. I might fall off. I might crash. I might smack into a brick wall. As if suddenly one would appear. Of course it will if you create it. But again, understand that if you create that brick wall, that's an indication you are no longer on the leading edge. Brick walls do not exist, by definition, on the leading edge. They only exist back down the line, in the wake, in one of the eddies, in one of the currents that is representative of belief systems that there are such things as brick walls. But if you're truly riding the leading edge, truly, as you say, surfing the crest, then you will understand that just like being on the top of the mountain, you have a clear and unobstructed view of everything in front of you. And you ride that wave right into ecstasy. Ride the leading edge of the ecstasy. Allow yourself the opportunity to know you can. You don't have to choose to. But then if you don't be surprised by what is commensurate for that level. It's completely up to you what to lock onto, what to believe, what to align with, what to associate yourself with. You can, on one hand, say, I understand these concepts. I believe these concepts. I will live these concepts. I am this idea. It can happen instantly, effortlessly, miraculously, wonderfully, joyfully, creatively, lovingly, now for me. Or you can recognize that you tend, quote unquote, choose to gravitate more to informational sources that confirm your own fear. Well, one should take their time. Well, one has to be careful with this stuff. Now, we understand that there is such a thing as recognizing and honoring whatever belief system you happen to have, and not pushing yourself beyond it if you truly don't believe you can, because that would simply be disastrous. But the idea is to understand and to clearly take responsibility for knowing that if you are aligning with someone that says, well, you know, you can't just go full throttle because you have to be careful that you're not doing this and you're not doing that. You might fool yourself here, you might fool yourself there, and you have to take it easy. If you align yourself with that, that's all well and good. But understand that you are choosing to, and it has nothing at all to do with the fact that you could change your belief and allow yourself to ride the leading edge where things manifest instantaneously. You could. But if you are not, it's your choice. And that's, once again, where you really need to be passionate about being passionate and find out why you are choosing to not ride the leading edge. You will obviously have your own reason for not doing so. Whatever that reason is, whatever you feel is the need for safety, is up to you to determine. But just take responsibility and recognize the responsibility and the choice that you are making for understanding that it's not empirically true that you have to do it that way. It's not empirically true that you have to listen to what that person is saying as opposed to what this person is saying. It's just your choice. Take responsibility for it and then be passionate about finding out why you believe what you do, so that you can, if you are willing, open up to new beliefs that will allow you to move up the spectrum and be in the violet instead of in the red, financially speaking. So, allow yourselves to simply at every given moment recognize what you're doing. Let go of the need to understand the how of it. Because you see, one of the things that stops many of you from having the experiences that were described in the recording is that, for example, when someone says, well, you know, I simply got into the state where I believed I would simply receive more checks. Your physical, logical, reasonable mind goes, well, where the heck are they supposed to come from? I haven't done anything to earn that money. What are you saying? That some stranger just suddenly going to get into his head to pop a check in the mail to me for no reason whatsoever, and I'm just going to go to my mailbox and open a check that comes from a total stranger that's suddenly giving me exactly what I want? Yes! Yes, that is what's being said. Yes, that is one possible way. Yes, that is one possible example of what could happen. But when your logical, reasonable, physical mind going, how does that make any sense? The thing to remind it is that it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to make sense. When you stop needing it to make sense, then you'll make dollars. You have got to give up. You've got to give up your need, your physical mind's need, for everything to have a reason, for everything to make logical sense in the physical, third-dimensional world. If you say you wish to live in fourth-density reality, you must give up the things that are commensurate with the three-dimensional world, such as logic, reason. Not totally. I'm not saying be willy-nilly, fly by the seat of your pants people. I'm saying be aware of the fact that these things are simply points of view, and that you often stop yourselves from allowing these things to come to you because you logic them to death. You detail them to death, literally. You look for a chain of reasonable connection, and believe me, in fourth density reality, there are many chains that to a third density mind are not reasonable or rational at all. You have asked us, how do we travel from star to star? And we have explained to you, we don't travel. from star to star. We're simply here, then we're simply there. The logical mind boggles. But how did you get there? How is it possible to go from here to there without stepping on all the places in between? That's not rational. That's not logical. Yes, it is from a different point of view. I'm talking about not abandoning logic. I'm talking about higher logic. The logic that comes from standing on the mountaintop where you can see the entire valley, the entire network, and where it makes sense to you on the mountaintop to say, if you actually go back 3 steps and then to the left, you're actually going to get there more quickly than if you just go straight ahead. Whereas down in the valley, the logical mind self is going, but everyone knows the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and if I go backwards, how can I get there sooner than if I go forwards? How? And the higher self goes, ugh. Because I can see that if you go forward there, the bridge is out, and if you take 3 steps back and go to the left, you go on a parallel road where the bridge is fine. But the point is that the language of the higher self cannot always communicate all those specifics to the physical mind, because the physical mind does not always have the capacity for that kind of translation. The only way that dialogue, most often than not from the higher self, translates to the physical mind is simply suddenly the urge to go back. The urge itself, the intuition itself, in the physical mind is the condensation and capsulization of the entire explanation from the higher self, saying, if you go 3 steps back and then go to the left and go down the parallel road, then the bridge is up. But all the physical mind will get is the tug. That's how it translates in physical reality, because the physical mind is not capable of actually perceiving in the same way the higher self is, and doesn't have to know all the reasons why and how. All it needs to do is know that that's part of who you are, and allow yourself to recognize that that is a communication and to follow it, and that you have received the information that you need, because it's on the same wavelength of your joy, of your passion. Why? Because you say it is. And you flow with it, and thus find out that it is. Or resist it for as long as you want, and keep walking on the same road until you get to the washed out bridge and go, oh, why didn't I listen to my intuition back there? Because you thought you were in charge, smarty. But you're not. Not you alone. You are in charge, but not you alone, physical mind. Physical mind, higher self, that's the you that's in charge. Both aspects of your being is the persona, not just the physical personality self. That's only a part of it. So if you want to know you're in charge, you have to behave like the whole you. And be willing to open up and receive and perceive, in whatever way it works for you, the dialogue and the communication coming from the portion of yourself that is the higher self, that has the higher point of view, that has the bigger picture. And be willing to understand it's working on your behalf. It's not going to trick you. It's not going to deceive you. The only thing in your reality that can create the idea of tricks and deception is the physical mind's belief system, not the higher self. Because it is only in physical, three-dimensional reality that you can have the experience of a personality structure that can actually deny its own truth. So any tricks, any deception that you may be afraid of encountering can only actually be coming from the personality aspect that's actually afraid it's going to be deceived. That's the paradox. It can't come from the higher self because that's a bigger picture point of view. And it can clearly see the road. And there is no reason, there is no logic for the higher self to go, yeah, take the left road. Watch and see how my lower self falls into the river. This ought to be fun. Oops, I went with it. You are under the assumption that the higher self is immune from what you experience in physical reality. Incorrect. You are one being, and the higher self will suffer the slings and arrows that the physical mind shoots itself with. You are one being, and it is not detached from you, and it is not immune to the consequences of the physical mind's choices. But because the higher self is closer to the vibration of unconditional love, it will overlook it again and again and again and again, attempting to unconditionally loving you, reminding you, please take the other road, please. Oh, here we go again. It is not immune to the consequences of the physical mind's acts and choices. Do not assume that it is. But it is close enough to unconditional love to forgive it and to keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. That's the relationship of your higher self. That's its job. To keep on guiding you no matter what. Because it is the vibration of unconditional love that the physical mind often refuses to allow itself to perceive through the belief systems it chooses to buy into that deny its truth to itself. So, higher self says, please, 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 please know you are loved. Please, please, please allow me to love you. Please, please, please love yourself enough to know you're not alone in this. That you don't have to do it all. That you weren't designed to. You weren't expected to. Ever. Not once. Carry this burden by yourself. Let me be your guide because I am you. Become familiar with that portion of yourself. It is not detached. It is not separate. It is not aloof. It is not in its own realm unaware of what you are choosing to experience. It will also experience it in its own way. But nevertheless, will always overlook it and always urge you forward. Or left, or back, or whatever is necessary. Take a deep breath and let this sink in deeply, deeply, deeply. And allow yourself to at least consider the possibility that you deserve to be on the leading edge of the crest of the wave of consciousness of the transformation. Take another deep breath. Now, in terms of your time frame, what is the time remaining for this?
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Fabulous day, and it's fabulous to be speaking with you.
And you as well.
And my question is, how do I restructure my spirit?
Restructure your spirit.
Yes, to restructure my body to the greater health and fitness I desire.
Well, again, the formula is the formula. Do you understand?
Yes.
The formula is the formula. Period. So the idea of acting on your passion to the best you're able with no insistence, yes?
On the outcome.
No insistence, no conditions, because you don't really know exactly why you are in the form you're in, do you?
Discovering why.
All right. And therefore, the purpose of the form is to discover more of yourself in that particular way. Not saying you have to do it that way, but if that's what it's for right now, allowing that to be okay is what will give it the best chance to change if it needs to. Because if you're all right with what is, you use it up. You use it up to your advantage. As soon as you resist what is happening, you make it stick around longer because you're refusing to believe it has any business being there. If it's there, there's a reason that it's there. A positive reason you could glean from it that it's there. If you're not taking that stance, that state of being, that there must be a reason that serves me, why this is happening this way, you will never glean the positive effect from it, and you will make it stick around until you get the point that it must be serving you somehow. And as soon, paradoxically, as soon as you allow it to be what it is and learn from it what you need, it will start to change because you're using it up. But you can't refuse to believe that it belongs. Can't invalidate it. It's got to be there for a reason. It's got to be there for a reason.
Yes.
So as soon as you relax the need for it to change, you give it the best opportunity to do so. That's the paradox. That's the irony.
To show it what it has to show you.
Yes. You have to let it be there for the reason that it's there and learn from it so it can move on because it's taught you the lesson. It doesn't need to stick around until you get the point because you got the point. Yes? Then things are flowing. Things are changing. Remember, change is the constant. If something doesn't seem to be changing, you're not letting it because you're refusing to use what is there in the best possible way. You're assuming something's wrong. You're giving it a negative definition.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Is this helping?
It is helping.
All right. Can you relax about that?
Obviously, I'm working on it.
That's fine. Then that means that that's exactly what you are needing to do, is work on that. Mm-hmm. Relish it. Dive into it. Let's see what I can learn from this circumstance. Let's see what I can learn from the way things are, instead of wishing they were different, which invalidates the way things are.
Yes.
There is nothing. Are you paying attention?
Yes. Yes.
There is nothing more important than what's happening now. Mm-hmm. Nowhere else you need to be, nothing else that needs to happen that could ever be more important than what's happening now. Relish it, use it, rejoice in it, be grateful for it, appreciate it, love it, love yourself enough to do so. Everything will change. But you can't insist that it must. Otherwise, you're making your happiness conditional on the outside change, instead of just saying, I will be happy no matter what's going on outside, because I know that what's going on outside is just for my benefit as a reflective illusion.
And on the outside includes what's on the inside of the physical body?
It can. Very often it will. But you don't always know exactly what the symbol represents. That's why it can be not to your advantage to make assumptions about what you think it means or represents. Let it show you what it represents by really investigating it in the most positive way. Because it could be serving a tremendous positive purpose that you are simply completely unaware of at this point in your life. Maybe somewhere down the road you might look back and go, oh, I get it. That's what that was for. I see now. It may not even be just about myself. It may have been a lot about what other people related to me about by this happening. And it served them too. And I was willing to do that. How strong am I? How loving am I to have done that for them? You never know. You can't always know what kind of an impact what you're going through might have on other people and how it may serve them as well as it serves you. Yes.
And
Yes.
are there moments of clarity where you know you're not guessing or grabbing at straws, where you'll just
Absolutely.
know?
That's why you follow the formula, in order to gain that clarity, because that's what it does. As you act on your passion to the best you're able, no insistence or assumption about the outcome, and stay in a positive state no matter how things look, it accelerates your energy. It uplifts, upgrades your vibration. And when you upgrade your vibration, you become more sensitively aware of all of the reasons things are happening, because you can see the structure of existence and you can see the relationship of those things and you can understand more clearly why they're happening that way. Mm-hmm. That's what it does. The formula does everything. Please, again, let us reinforce this for all of you. This formula, the tools in the kit, the idea of remaining in the positive state of being no matter how things look, this is not a philosophy. It's literally an instruction manual for how reality works. It's literally a description of the structure and nature of existence. It's not just a set of nice ideas. So, if I were to give you an instruction manual that says, here's how you operate this piece of machinery, would you just throw it away and say, well, I'll just guess?
No.
You follow the instructions, the machine will work as it's designed to work to your advantage. If you don't follow the instructions, the machine will still operate, but not necessarily to your advantage. The instruction manual is designed to give you the clarity to allow the mechanism to work to your advantage. That's why we share it with you. Always go back to the instruction manual. Always go back to the formula. You have a question, go back to the formula. You feel stuck, go back to the formula. It's all there is. We may spend many lovely hours with all of you clarifying, deepening your understanding of the instructions in the instruction manual, giving you more details so you can wrap your minds around it. That's fine. But there are no more instructions. We've given you the entire instruction manual. There will never be anything else we need to add to it except to clarify what's already there, which we are happy to do. But there is nothing else you need to ask for. Just go back to the instruction manual. Just go back to the formula. It works. That's why we share it with you.
Thank
you. Is this
you.
helping?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
And you good day.
Good day. I'm just wondering, how do I negotiate impulsivity versus highest excitement?
How do you tell the difference?
Yes.
Are you saying you cannot tell the difference between anxiety and excitement?
Oh.
Is that what you're saying? It's all right if that's
I guess
what you're
that's
saying,
what
but
I'm
is
saying.
that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Can you not tell the difference between anxiety and excitement? Really?
No, I think I can.
All right. Then you know the difference between impulsivity and excitement.
Okay.
Because impulsivity is usually the product of anxiety, yes?
Yes, that makes sense.
You're desperate to do something. You think we'll miss out on something. If this doesn't happen, you make an impulsive move. That comes from anxiety. All this takes is honest self-investigation, to be honestly aware of what you believe to be true in any given circumstance where you suddenly feel impulsive or anxious. And ask yourself why. Take a moment, take a step back, relax, go, all right, I'm experiencing this impulsiveness. I know it's connected to anxiety. Anxiety must mean I'm holding on to a definition that's out of alignment, a fear-based definition. What could that be? Let me investigate. Let me find out what it is. Let me bring it to light. Then I can let it go. Then I will simply know the difference more clearly between my excitement and my anxiety. That's how it works. Use that time. When it comes up, stay there with it. Investigate it. Find out what the definition is that's generating it. Because you already know that you cannot have an emotion in a vacuum. You cannot feel anything until you have a definition you believe is true. If you understand that mechanism, understand the structure of existence that works that way, then you will know anytime you feel anything, you can always trace it back to something you believe to be true. Mm-hmm. And that's how it works. And you stay with it because that's the point of your life. When you feel those things, the point is to stay there and work with it. Again, there's nowhere more important you need to be.
Yes.
Nowhere more important than being here and now with what's happening. Because that's what gives you the next step. If you ignore the stepping stone you're on, you have no place to step from to the next stone. Use that stone and your path will be fully lined and fully lit. Does this help you?
Yes, thank you.
Was there something else?
Yes. In regards to time travel,
yes.
What are our dreams?
Well, your dreams can be above and beyond the space-time continuum. They can still experience a kind of time, but it's much more slippery. You can have really experiences with almost no time lag at all. As soon as you believe something to be true, that's what you will actually literally experience around you as if it were still physical, but you will know that it's not. And therefore you can sort of transcend the idea of the space-time framework on the spirit level. And that is sometimes what dreams are representative of. Experiences you're having on the spirit level, transcending the space-time matrix. And then when you wake up, your physical mind does the best it can to draw upon symbols it's familiar with to represent what it is you experienced in a realm that the physical mind doesn't even understand. That's why sometimes your dreams seem very crazy and very symbolic and representative and don't really seem to make sense when you wake up, although they seem to make perfect sense when you're in them. Is because, again, the physical mind has to create a representation for you to remember. So it's going, well, let's see what's on my palette here. I don't have that color. Well, this one will do. Is that good enough? That's what it's doing. And so you wake up and you go, oh, that was an interesting dream. The best way to understand it is that it is usually representative symbolically of certain processes you're going through, certain experiences you're having within yourself. But it can actually be, in a sense, a memory of something you did on another level. It can be many different things. But the physical mind isn't always capable of representing exactly what happened on a different level. But it will do the best it can. Does that help?
Yes.
Anything else?
That's it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasant dreams.
Greetings, Bashar.
And a good day.
You have described us as masters of limitation.
Yes, I have. But remember,
Yes, sir.
It's masters of limitation, but also masters of limitation.
Yes.
Yes?
Right.
Big difference, yes?
Yes, masters of limitation.
All right.
So, from your perspective,
Yes.
is our human experience best described as an advanced college course?
Yes.
Summer school for failed students?
No, advanced college course.
So, not detention after school either.
Graduating class. Allowing yourself to choose to experience a reality of such incredible limitation means you know you're strong enough to transform it.
Yes.
Masters of limitation, therefore, you're getting your master's degree.
Yes. Good.
Not kindergarten, not summer school holdbacks. Now, you can experience it that way, but again, remember, the experience description is vastly different from the actual mechanism. Yes?
Yes.
So, you can certainly create it to appear as if you are in detention because you refuse to learn and have to be held back. You can experience it that way, as if you're in kindergarten and know nothing and look at the big kids and envy them. You can experience it that way, but that's not what's happening.
Does that master class description describe our current class, or is it also describe, let's say, 1,000 years ago?
It's always been that way. It's just that you're becoming more aware of the fact that it's always been that way. When you weren't aware of the fact, then there was more of an agreement that it felt like something more like a kindergarten. Although there have always been individuals who understood the idea of mastery. That's why you've had teachers and guides and advanced beings in your society from time to time who are willing to tell you, no, 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 you are masters.
Yes.
Yes?
Does the illusion of murder and violence, is that unique to our situation, or is that common in the...
No, but it's not that common.
Okay.
In the way that you experience it, to the degree that you experience it, we haven't run across it that often. It's relatively rare because not that many civilizations we've encountered are that steeped in forgetfulness. They many times look to you and realize that if you can transform the degree of limitation that you've experienced, then whatever challenges they have are a walk in the park.
Is that forgetfulness, is that self-imposed or
Yes.
outer self-imposed?
Well, it's self-imposed in the sense that you realize that that's the game you're playing. That's the rules you're abiding by. In other words, you have to forget who you are to that degree in order to experience the depth of transformation that you're looking to experience.
Where you come from, Bashar, is the murder violence known or
We are aware of it, but we don't experience it, if that's what you mean.
ever?
Well, no, because that's not a choice that seems logical to us. It doesn't make sense for us to choose that. So, no thank you. We don't invalidate it as an experience. We understand that darkness always exists, but we choose what we prefer without invalidating what we don't prefer. And therefore, there's no need for us to experience those things because we understand what it is we are all about. We understand what it is we prefer, and we understand how to choose it consciously with awareness. And it really just makes no sense for us to choose anything else. That's part of the process that you're all going through, is getting to the point where nothing but positive choice makes any sense. That's really what it comes down to. It just doesn't make sense to choose anything else.
Yes. So in the terms of all that is,
Yes.
obviously the illusion of murder and violence is somewhat a part of all that.
Not somewhat, it is a part.
It is a part.
Well, there's nothing outside of all that is,
Yes.
by definition. So how could it be other than an expression within it?
And does that mean that, I mean, it is murder violence, I guess, is the illusion of like killing a part of yourself, basically.
It is, and it comes from belief in the idea of disconnection and lack. Because you are feeling an emptiness by believing in disconnection from source. And you're trying to fill that emptiness with what you have been taught to believe is an expression of power, which usually, when you have that kind of an experience, is expressed through domination and force and attempts to control. And then that leads to those kinds of things, murder, violence, what have you. But when you understand you are connected, there is no emptiness and there is no need to do those things because you understand that you are a part of everything, everything is a part of you, and what's the point?
Yes.
Because you are self-empowered enough to have whatever you need without having to hurt yourself or anyone else in that process. It makes no sense. You're only diminishing yourself.
So most of the creation then chooses positive. Would you say that most, or?
I'm going to only be capable of putting it this way, as I have before. When you think about it, creation is not a duality. It is a trinity. There is always the balance point in the center. Yes? You with me so far?
Yes.
Because the balance point in the center is a neutral position, it still gives you the freedom to choose what you prefer. Therefore, it could be said that existence is slightly biased toward the positive. You could say it's 51% positive and 49% negative. Therefore, the current, the flow of creation, always draws you in the positive direction. Therefore, the majority, whatever kinds of percentages you may want to give it, of everything we have ever discovered, the majority is always positively expressed.
Yes. One last question.
Yes.
Does the energy from our thoughts feed other systems or entities outside of our reality?
They can, yes.
Okay. And do our negative thoughts seem more delicious to certain systems or entities than the positives?
In a sense, it can, but there is a lot that can be discussed about that. That's a very oversimplified way of expressing it that doesn't really get down into the depth of what that really means and what kind of experiences those are, and it leaves a lot out. Therefore, that might be something that we will save for a deeper discussion at another time.
Sure.
So the short answer is yes, but not really.
Okay.
Because there's a lot to say about what you mean by saying delicious in this context.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.